Chuck, Decision 2020 continues as ballot counting drags on. We take a look tonight at the transfer of power that can happen after a presidential race is called. Here's Alex Minky.
After a presidential election race is called, recounts often begin.
So definitely, I think we'll see a recount in Georgia. But so in Georgia, they need, as I understand it, if the vote is within 0.5%, then that can trigger a recount. In Wisconsin, if it's less than 1%, then that can trigger a recount. Those aren't automatic, though. The campaign would have to request one.
A smooth transition of power dates back to our first president. But some of the ceremonies aren't actually written into the Constitution. But over the past 244 years, we have developed some courtesies, like the losing candidate giving a concession speech. President Donald Trump says if he's not reelected, don't expect one of those speeches from him.
It's sort of a custom and a courtesy, but it's not a requirement. So conceding the election, whether or not that happens, doesn't necessarily mean that anything.
In January, the president would be sworn in regardless and then move into the big White House on Pennsylvania Avenue. If the current president isn't the one taking the oath, he has to move out.
If Joe Biden wins, and if Joe Biden goes to the Capitol on January the 20th, 2021, and he takes the oath of office at noon, at 12:01, the federal government works for him, or at least within the legal standards of what a president has. So it would be in a new president's right to tell the Secret Service to evict Donald Trump.
Both political scientists say the lawsuits President Trump is pressing now may certainly slow down the election process, whether or not they're successful. So until the race is officially called, all eyes will be on the ballot counters. I'm Alex Minky reporting.